Hello, everybody. Mike Volkin here, Freelancer Masterclass. We got a comment on one of our videos about personal branding. So I wanted to make a video about it, make sure you all understood it, because it's not the first time I've had a question about it. We actually have a whole class on freelancermasterclass.com about personal branding, but let's go ahead and go over some of the basics. This class is entitled The Personal Branding Process for Freelancers. I'm going to tell you about an actual process to make sure that your personal brand is best represented. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is a logo. Everybody always, whenever I bring up branding, everybody always talks about a logo. That seems to be the first discussion. How important is a logo? It's about important as a white crayon on a white piece of paper. It's about that important. It's not important at all. Who cares about your stupid logo, really? To be honest with you, logos are probably one of the most overrated things in businesses today. Logos are only important for companies that have enough brand recognition that they can represent their brand through a logo. You know, I mean, if you see a Coke logo, you know it's Coke, right? If you see the McDonald's logo, the McDonald's arches, you know it's McDonald's, right? That's what a logo is for. So you can just like paste your logo on everything, on T-shirts or on charity events or whatever, so people recognize your brand. But if you're a freelancer that might work with a client or two here and there, then nobody cares about your logo, right? Only if they're going to be coming back to you and they see your logo in other places and say, oh yeah, I need to give that person a call. I mean, that's why a logo is important. You can have one. Don't spend. I had a friend of mine that was spending forever on this logo and he's just getting hung up on it. I don't know if it was subconsciously a reason for him just to not move forward with the rest of the business, but honestly, don't get hung up on a logo, okay? There's plenty of, there's designers on Fiverr.com, even though I don't recommend Fiverr at all. I actually loathe that site. Now I've learned to really dislike Fiverr, but getting a logo designed is cheap, and there's lots of logo software that you can do online that you can produce a logo yourself for next to free. Story time. So you always want to be remembered, right? So craft a good story about why you do what you do, what drives you to pursue the business that you're in. You want to create a story around it. I'm not saying make up a story, but create a story. I knew of someone many years ago who made up a story and then got caught, and somebody had called him out on this story, and it actually made a little bit of a news in his industry, and he got kind of shunned. He had this whole sob story on how he got in this accident, and none of it ever happened because he wanted to create a story that people would remember. So don't make it up, but at the same time, you should just create one. You do what you do for a reason, right? People want to do business with people they relate to. So come up with a story. We actually have a class in Freelancer Masterclass about the type of story that you come up with and then how to develop it. But for the sake of this video, just know that you have to have a story, and there are different kinds of stories, and that you want to have one that is exuded on your website. And then if you're ever giving speeches or talking on a discovery call to a prospect, that story comes out in ways that you can relate to people, okay? Now, let's talk about attributes. Know your positive attributes and exploit those in every element of your business. So for example, I'm working with a freelancer who is quite hilarious, okay? She's a client of mine. She's funny, she's witty, she's sharp, she's sarcastic. She's building a website. Guess what her website language is? It's sharp, it's witty, it's funny, it's sarcastic. It best exudes who she is. You should have that not just on your website, but all your marketing material, your profile, for example, on Upwork, right? It should all show your attributes, your positive attributes. Don't do the ones that are negative, right? If you're a negative person, then you don't want to come off as negative. If you're insultive, if you're direct or harsh, don't come off as that. There's one person I know of that does this. His name is Dan Pena. He's not a freelancer. He's a billionaire, actually. I don't know him personally, but I know his brand. He's a very harsh drill sergeant-like style about him. And some people really like that style. I can't stand it, maybe because I was in the Army. But honestly, some people really take to that kind of attribute. Now, he took what is usually a negative, which is that harsh, I'm going to insult you, I'm going to be very direct. If you suck, I'm going to tell you suck, right? Some people really like to get kicked in the pants like that. So he uses that. If you go to his website, I forget what QLA or process or something like that, you can see Dan Pena. He swears. He's pointing his finger at you. He's telling you suck. He's literally has a video where he's telling you you suck if you watch this video. Like, he's telling you the reasons why you suck. Like whatever your attribute is, just bring it out in whatever you do, whether it's a video, website, marketing, collateral, whatever. Let people know that is part of your brand. And then a lot of people talk about being unique. How unique do I have to be? And the capitalization is terrible there. Sorry, I should have capitalized the word have, but it looks kind of silly. Anyway, how unique do you have to be? You don't really have to be unique. That's the difference. A lot of freelancers get scared. Oh, I can't be a freelancer because I'm not unique. I'm just like everybody else. It's just an excuse. You don't have to be unique. I'm not unique. In terms of freelancing, there's a lot of fractional CMOs out there, right? But I am memorable because I have certain experiences. I've worked with certain people. I have a certain personality about me. That makes me unique in a way, because everybody is unique in their own individual way. But from a company or a freelancer perspective, you don't have to be unique. You just have to be memorable. That's the whole point of branding. There are lots of companies out there. There's lots of freelancers out there who are funny, who have a funny brand. There are lots of freelancers and companies out there who are scientific and have a scientific brand. That's not unique. They're memorable because of the way they portray that brand. Okay. Now, here's the process you go about. First thing you want to do is you want to find your ideal client. Who would you like to serve? And I don't just mean I want to serve females. I like working with females for whatever. Female entrepreneurs. All right, great. But who really is your ideal client? Female serial entrepreneurs between the age of 28 and 48 who live in the United States. Like that's your ideal client, right? And then once you find them, you can know how to best relate to them given your positive attributes. So you have to develop your brand to be memorable. At least more memorable than your competitors. Not unique, but memorable to where people will remember you if they need help from your expertise again. And you do that by sharing your story. All right. And then you build relationships. You make connections, real ones, not where you spam everybody. I can't begin to tell you how much spam email I get every day from people trying to start relationships with me, online, trying to get into my quote unquote personal network. And they start off just trying to hit a home run. They start off with, hey, this is me. I'm an SEO expert. I can get you on page 1 in a week for 400 keywords. I'll do it for free, blah, blah, blah. That's not a relationship. You're just spamming me. So make a connection on LinkedIn or some other platform, wherever your ideal client is, and start forming a relationship. That doesn't mean be fake. Hey, how are you doing? How's your kids? Tell me about it. When's your birthday? It's just developing a relationship just means let it come out naturally. Introduce yourself as if you would in a party, start a conversation. Don't be fake about it. Business relationships can be had every day. And actually, if you work about an hour a day, even less than that, a half an hour a day, you can build dozens of connections every day. And guess what that works out to be? Over a period of years, you got hundreds of new business relationships that you can contact at any time that you have a relationship with. All right. And then the next step in the process is to become the expert. All right. So you found your ideal client, you're memorable to them, you've built a good relationship with them, and now you're the expert. So if they have a problem with, they need some copy for their website, you're the copywriter expert. They know you, they have a relationship with you, you're memorable because they remembered you, and you already have a connection with them. Okay. And then here's the big thing, guys, and everything in regards to the process comes down to this. Keep at it, build your network. Most freelancers don't stick to consistency. I talk to people about, hey, all right, well, you had that initiative where you friended 10 people on LinkedIn a day. How's that going? Yeah, well, I did it for 3 days and I didn't get any business out of it, so I don't do that anymore. Really, 3 days? Is that your tolerance level? You friended 30 people on LinkedIn and you didn't get any business? So stick to it. Honestly, guys, I don't get much business at all out of doing these types of videos, but I do it because hopefully if you see enough of them, and you'll remember that I'm the freelancing expert, that eventually one day when you want to get serious about your career and really double or triple your income, you'll come to the Freelancer Masterclass and you'll join us and you become a student, right? That's why I do this. I don't get money for, I charge my clients $200 an hour. It takes them about at least an hour to put a video like this together, to research it and put it in a presentation and make the video. I'm not getting paid $200 to do this, but I do it for over time for branding reasons. You guys will see me as a freelancing expert, and that you guys should do that too. Just stick with it. I know from my personal, I have to do this for 6 months or a year to start building an audience, but you just have to stay with it. Okay. So anyway, that is how you become a personal branding expert and be memorable to prospects and clients. Good luck.